Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. Come on in and join me for another Inspire Fireside Chat. Today we have Tonka Cascades, and with her we will be talking about, of course, Pilates, but also a very important subject, how a strong body can house a healthy mind. Tonka will be also sharing with us some of her experience, and I'm sure there is so much to learn for everyone. My name is Paola Shah. I am the founder and CEO of Tucketts. Tucketts are high-performing grip socks that enhance the foot-brain connection and give you confidence to step in any barefoot activity. And remember, our mission is to help you elevate you through your feet. And yes, to help you in that process. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I have Tonka here. And then she's joining soon.
Hey Paula, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. So good to see you. So welcome to Pilates. This is my home away from home. So I'm just going to show you real quick. So this is my Pilates studio here in Fort Lauderdale. So this is what the studio looks like for everybody to see.
If you lower a bit your camera, so perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I love the color of the reformers. They are great.
Yes, exactly. So we figured out that the energy needs to be really very conducive to people being healthy and to people achieving their health goals. So this is why we like our environment. It's so bright. We have windows everywhere. You know, we have also a lot of different equipment. So this is my home away from home right here. That wall, yes, I love my wall. So this almost makes me feel like I'm in the middle of a forest.
And it's amazing because you have the ocean.
Yes.
Then you're
we combined both of them. We absolutely combined both of them. So first I want to say thank you, Paula, for inviting me. And I want to say, hey, Pearl, thank you so much for joining. So first I want to say that I absolutely love your socks. I use them all the time, and so are my clients. And what I love about them is that they're very versatile. I can use them to work out, but I also can use them to, when I'm at home. And I just absolutely love them. They're easy to pack. I travel with them everywhere, all over the world. So it's really fabulous product. And I absolutely love your philosophy. I love you as a person and as a founder, as a woman, businesswoman. It's not easy to be a businesswoman and to be successful. It takes a lot of work. Trust me, I have been doing this for a very long time.
And this is exactly what we're talking about today.
Exactly. So this is why it's so important for everybody to understand, what's behind that brand and what's behind that effort, to be successful and to create a good, very strong product, because that is what, product with integrity that is also aligned with the environment and everything. So I absolutely love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I love that you recognize the effort that is behind a product. And this is why we do these fireside chats, because we also want to recognize and discover and learn from behind the scenes. Sometimes we see on Instagram the perfect picture, the perfect workout, the perfect smile, but there is so much work behind that. And especially someone, like you, that have been doing Pilates for more than 25 years.
Oh my God. Yes, I started Pilates actually in 1995. So it's been, a very long time, and I absolutely love it. And this is also why, the whole mind-body connection aligns with your product perfectly, and this is why we integrate it in our environment, and our clients also love it, absolutely love it.
And then Tonka, so let's start. We're going to assume there are here some people that don't know who Tonka is.
Right.
So, who is Tonka today?
Oh my God. So what you guys see today is a transformation of, like a lot of searching and development and experimenting and finding who I really am, who am I, and what's inspiring to me and what drives me forward. And the one thing that I know for sure with myself is that I always, always follow what inspires me. And to be honest with you, 99% of the time, that is the hardest path to take. And every time I'm excited about something and it's inspiring to me, I follow that path. So that's the foundation of really who I am. So for everybody who I have not met and who don't know who I am, I live in Florida, and originally I'm from Bulgaria. I moved to the United States in 1994, and I opened my Pilates studio in 2000. So my goodness, it's been 21 years. So I studied Pilates in New York City with Romana, who was Joseph Pilates' right hand. And I absolutely, absolutely loved the work. I loved her. You know, she obviously is not with us any longer. But there is not a single day I don't hear her voice in my head, you know, telling me how to do certain things and how to lift and, you know, where my leg needs to go and where my arm needs to go. So that has been just really, really incredible experience. My passion is neuroscience. And so I have developed my work around Pilates and around neuroscience. So the foundation for my work is all neurological reflex patterns, and I apply Pilates to that foundation.
So Tonka, before we kind of dive into Pilates, I also like to ask questions about before Pilates.
Yes.
So my first question is, what brought you to the US?
I always knew I'm going to come to the US. I know it sounds really crazy, but you know, growing up in a country that's, you know, it's a small country with a very set environment, I knew that I will be coming to the United States at a very early age. Actually, my mom told me a funny story. Apparently, when I was 3 years old, I don't remember this. Me and my brother, we used to have these little chairs, and my grandfather made those chairs for us. So my mom would put the chairs in front of the TV every day. At 3 o'clock, we would watch National Geographics on TV. So one day there was a National Geographics on Miami. So apparently the chairs again, you know, me and my brother sat in our little chairs, which they're really tiny. I have to tell you now, even my foot doesn't fit in that chair, but that was our big chair, you know. So as soon as the National Geographic documentary started, my mom told me that I got off my chair, I went to the TV, and I told her, this is where I'm going. So even at that age, I knew that I was coming to the United States. The reason why I came here, I wanted to study. So I wanted to study physical therapy. So I was accepted in Florida International University to study physical therapy. And that's how my journey actually started here. Then things changed. You know, I branched out into Pilates and, you know, all kinds of modalities.
So how did you discover Pilates?
Pilates was something that I kept on reading about. And again, in that time, Pilates was around, but not really so much in Florida. So I kept on reading in the newspapers, Pilates, I mean, the magazines, you know, all the like In Shape, you know, all these magazines. I kept on reading about Pilates, and I couldn't find anybody to teach me. I'm like, I want to know what this Pilates is all about. You know, I did gymnastics when I was younger. I was always, you know, very athletic. So it was very intriguing for me to listen and read about Pilates. And I could not find anybody to teach me. So finally, I started to research. And at that time, Romana had her teacher training certification in Fort Myers, which is about three-hour drive north from where I am in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, yeah.
So I drove just to see what it is. And I will never forget this. It was not easy to find that place, okay? I drove and, you know, I was not familiar with the area. So I had to, you know, look for the address. So it was maybe around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. And I remember walking into this room, into this studio, and seeing this little tiny woman, like this tall, right? All dressed in white. And she had this big man on the machine. And she kept on saying to him, push, and no movement was coming out of the machine, not out of this man. He was dripping sweat. I mean, there was sweat on the floor. And she kept on telling him, come on, push. Nothing, no movement was coming out of him, not in the machine, nor the reformer. And then she says to him, okay, honey, step aside, let me show you. And she just got on the reformer and just did all these beautiful movements. And I just could not stop watching her. And that's basically how I met Romana. That was my first exposure to Pilates and to Romana. And I knew I wanted for her to teach me. So after she finished the session, I went and I asked her, how can I come and learn from you? So she said to me, come to New York, honey, come to New York. And that's what I did. So I moved to New York. I was there for 2 years. I studied with her pretty much on a daily basis. I worked at the studio where she was teaching. And that's when I completed my Pilates training, and I moved down to Florida. I opened the first studio in Fort Lauderdale, and people didn't even know the word Pilates. I remember having to explain constantly, what is Pilates? I'm like, come, I'll show you. It was really, really amazing. So that was my introduction.
Let's talk about that first studio. How many Pilates reformers did you have? Or
oh my God, it was really, really interesting because it was 450 square feet. It was tiny space. So I had one reformer, I had one Cadillac, I had one chair and one barrel. That was it. That's all we had at that time.
So what do you have today?
Oh my God. So today we have 10 tower reformers. We have spine correctors. We have chairs. So here is the electric chair. I think you guys can see. Yes, you guys can see it. So here is the electric chair. We have wounded chairs. We have barrels. We have Cadillacs. All the equipment is here. So this is the Cadillac. I don't know. I think you guys can see it. Yep. Let's see, maybe.
And a much bigger space, right?
Here you go. Yeah, much bigger space. So this is the Cadillac. Yes, it's much bigger space, definitely. But it was very interesting because when we first started, obviously we were new to the area, and I made 100 flyers and I printed them at home and on my printer. And I went with my bike in the neighborhoods and I just put those flyers in people's mailboxes. So out of 100 flyers, I got 67 clients. So it was like,
wow.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
Yes. So after the first month, I just could not, I could not just stay in that space. So what we had to do, it was, again, another very interesting occurrence, was that the space that was next to me was occupied by a company called Ceto. So Ceto is almost think of AAA, but for boats.
Okay.
So if a boat gets in trouble in the ocean, they will send one of those boats, and they will bring them back and help them with whatever repairs the boat needed. So Ceto was right next to me, and they had been there for 30 years. A month later, they moved. So they opened the space next to me. So that's how the universe told me, okay, toughen up, get serious with this, start, planning. And that's what we did. So then we expanded a little, and then we moved again. We expanded a little bit more. And this is where we're today. And actually, as a matter of fact, we just moved to a smaller space because due to COVID, I wanted to continue to operate for our clients and be here for them, because some of them have been coming for 20 and more years. And so I wanted to maintain the business. So we moved to a little bit smaller space, but we love it. We absolutely love it. So.
And then so you started doing or discover aerial arts, right?
Yes.
And that brought also a shift to your career / business, and then with that you launch aerial Pilates exercise method, which is APX, right?
Yes. So,
okay. So can you tell us a bit of that how was that transition?
Yes, definitely. Judy, I love the Cadillac too, my darling. I just wanted to respond to her. Yes, I absolutely love it. Love it. Hello, Romana. How are you, my darling? Thank you so much for joining. So the aerial, I actually was very intrigued by aerial because of my neuroscience studies. So in neuroscience, obviously, the most um, neurological stimulation happens when your body is flipped upside down. This is why the nervous system gets really, really stimulated. So I started to research, I started to look at a lot of different modalities, and that's how I came across aerial, aerial arts. So there is no aerial Pilates. Even still, there is no aerial Pilates, out there. So I did not study aerial Pilates. I actually studied aerial arts. And it was very intriguing to me how the entire system got stimulated when you're in the air. And what I started to do is I started to apply my Pilates practice. I took my Pilates practice from the mat in the air. And it is really, really, hello, Brazil. It is really amazing the results and the outcomes that you actually receive from that work. And the reason why I haven't been, posting a lot of aerial work is because we just moved and my hammocks are not hung yet. So very soon I'm going to continue with with the aerial work because it is extremely, extremely beneficial and it's just so good for you. So the stimulation in the air basically simply said, hello, Slovakia. Thank you for joining,
Hello,
guys.
Dubai.
Oh my God, Dubai. Hi, guys. So the way I want you to think about aerial is that when you're in the air, you either do certain movement or you cannot do it at all. And when you do regular Pilates, I mean, people can, hello, Netherlands. In regular Pilates, we can compensate. You know how sometimes there is weakness, but the body compensates for it. And then, you mimic the movement, you're all done. You get it done. In aerial work, you can't. You either do it correctly or you just cannot do the movement. Your body cannot balance in the air, so it comes off the hammock. So this is where I really, really love this work. And that's why I created the APX method, which is a short for aerial Pilates exercise method. And it is extremely, extremely powerful. I have to tell you, all of my clients do aerial. And like, it doesn't matter age, it doesn't matter gender, everybody's doing that. Even my 94-year-old client is on the hammock. And it's fabulous because it really increases that neurological stimulation and activation of all kinds of reflex patterns, which is the foundation of my work. Pilates and aerial and all that is all based on neurological reflex integration. In other words, neurological reflexes are actually their basic motor patterns. They're fundamentals. They're the foundation of our full body movement system. So if you think of our brain as this super powerful computer that we're born with, if you get a new computer, you cannot really use it right away. You have to, hi Tracy, thank you so much for joining. You have to download different programs in, right? So if you want to, you have to download Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, video player, and that actually makes your computer so much more powerful in assisting you. Well, this is how our bodies work. Think of our brain as the computers, as the master computer, and think of neurological reflexes and basic motor patterns as little apps and programs that the brain needs to download to make your body function better. So a lot of times as we go through life, sometimes because of injuries, sometimes because of stress, all of those patterns get disrupted. And that creates challenges for our bodies, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, cognitively. So this is where working with neurological patterns and going back and restoring them. It's almost like going back and downloading a newer version into that super powerful computer, which our brain is. It changes the way your body functions completely. And not only physically, but mentally and cognitively.
And I have a question there because in my Tucketts path, what I have discovered is this amazing relationship between the toes, the foot, and the brain.
Yes.
Is a streamline, right? Like it's, and then
Exactly.
and then both of them are in constant contact, and that's kind of one of the reasons why we created, like the open toe socks,
Exactly.
because it's for the brain and the feet to be connected. The moment
Yeah,
that you cover your toes, the first thing
exactly. Oh my
is
God, this is such amazing insight, by the way, because toes are extremely important. So think about this, and let's actually talk about socks in general. And this is exactly why I recommend your socks so much to my clients, because a lot of times socks are either too loose, which what it's going to do is it's going to make the foot slide, or they're too tight, which cramps the foot. Neither one of those things are good. This is exactly why I love that the toes are open, okay, that the toes are not covered. So we're going to take a couple of just basic foot patterns. Like one of them, for example, is Bibinski. Okay, what Bibinski reflex pattern is, it's a activation, it activates and it turns your foot inwards, it spreads the toes and lifts the big toe up. Okay, that pattern actually has physical implications, which means that your foot, your knee, and your hip actually they're directly connected, and they really align based on the function of the foot. So if the toe is not able to lift up, which if the socks are too tight, the toe doesn't lift up. If the socks are too wide, then the foot cannot spread because it slides. Then that really creates some serious implications for the alignment of the pelvis and the spine. And this is really, I mean, this is serious and very real, because those implications, those physical implications, which is the function of the foot, the ankle, the knee, and the hip through this neurological pattern, also affect you cognitively, which means it affects the way you process information. Now, it affects the movement of your eyes from right to left and from left to right, which determines how you're going to read, how quickly you're going to read, and then how you're going to process the information you're reading. It also affects your hands. The same way it affects your feet, it affects your hands. So guess what? We're holding a pen. How are we holding a pen if that pattern is off? Okay, how are we writing? How are we communicating? So you see how just a simple connection between the toe and the foot all of a sudden has all these implications of the entire nervous system and the brain, and mainly the brain stem. Okay, that's where that process is happening, and that information is being transferred to higher levels like the cortex, the brain cortex, where more complex skills are required. But it all starts with the simple movement of your big toe. I know most people listen to it and they're like, are you kidding me right now? No, I'm not. It starts with a simple movement of your toe. And it's also really, really important. That reflex pattern is really important for stress management, how we manage stress. Because those signals that are coming from the foot that are being processed, they either trigger a stress cycle, or they allow us to release any tension and any stress. So
wow.
it's very real. It's very real. So that's only one reflex, and I can share a couple more that are also being affected by the toes. We have two other reflexes that are extremely important. They're called foot grasp and foot tendon guard. So they're both guard reflexes. So from the word guard, we know that they're protective reflexes. They protect our bodies. Okay, so your foot grasp actually protects our bodies when we lose balance forward. So what the foot does is your toes grip the ground. Well, guess what? If you have the wrong socks on, if your socks are too tight, you cannot grip because you're already in gripped position. Or if your socks are too loose, then you slip and you still cannot grip. So what happens is you actually literally can fall and hurt yourself. So that is our foot grasp. Now, the foot grasp also protects our nervous system from stress. So again, if those reflexes are not properly integrated, or they're being affected by what we wear, either the socks or the shoes we wear, but mainly the socks, we're having an issue. And the other reflex, which I also, it's fascinating, how the entire nervous system works. But your foot tendon guard actually protects your body from falling backwards. So what happens during that reflex, our big toe actually goes up. And what that does, it tightens all the tendons on your arches, your heels, your Achilles tendon, your hamstrings, your all the tendons in your back, all the way up to your neck. So
Wow.
imagine if that big toe is not able to activate and go up and trigger that response, you're falling backwards. And this is where, a lot of times, people will fall, they'll be like, oh, it wasn't that big of a fall, but I really, I fractured my tailbone and, I broke my arm. And the reason why is because that reflex pattern did not get activated. Mm-hmm. So it did not protect our body.
And it's amazing because I think what I have discovered, and this is what part of elevating, women, men through their feet, is that awareness of the role of our feet, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's the root, is the core of the body, we are the tree, the trunk.
Exactly.
But our foot is really what keeps us grounded and stable.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's very important.
It's an amazing explanation. And yes. It's kind of the science behind Tucketts.
Right, exactly. And also, remember, the feet are our foundation. In my world, in what I do, feet should be the most important part. Feet should be the strongest part of our body. And if you think about it, we need to really take care of our feet, by training them properly, but also by, using the proper shoe, using the proper socks, to allow for that function to stay the way it needs to be. A lot of time when I start working with people in the beginning, I stay on their feet for, a while until I balance the foot. We change their shoes, we change their socks, and the foot determines the alignment of the spine. Mm-hmm. Okay? If there is an issue in your spine, guys, look at your feet. That's where everything starts from. And balancing the foot, taking care of your feet, it's so, so, so important.
And that's why it's so important to allow kids to walk bare feet, right? Like there is this big culture here of tiny shoes, tiny socks. It's so cute, right? But
exactly.
But kids need to really, really feel the ground. Like it's so important. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow, Tonka, this has
barefoot as much as possible. Barefoot, guys, or wear the sock. With the socks are perfect actually, because it feels like you're barefoot. It's the same mobility that you get for the feet. The socks are absolutely amazing. So keep it barefoot. I totally agree.
Yeah, and that's why we made our sock thin. Like people have asked, oh, can you make the sole a bit thicker? Like and we're like, no. The whole the whole point of the sock is to have the grippers, but the socks are really thin is because we want everyone to feel it. And of course the toes are out, because without the toes out, the barefoot sensation is completely
a totally different sensation. And what's also really interesting for anybody that ever studied neuroscience, they did this, it's part of, the whole curriculum, the way you study neuroscience, but they did this map to where they map the brain based on the sensory organs, on the sensory input that comes from each area of the body. And where there is the most sensory input is actually the feet. So the largest area in the brain, the map in the brain, the largest space is for the feet. Mm-hmm. And then the hands come next. And then, believe it or not, your lips come next. So if you look at that map, actually, I'll post it in my stories.
Yes.
And I'll post that map in my stories. I was looking at it the other day and I was laughing. It looks like your brain is like one big foot, one big hand, and lips. That's it. For you, the legs, the arms, there's like almost like no space for that. So
wow, this is amazing, and we're learning so much. Tonka, let's switch gears a bit. And I love this sentence that I found on your website that says strong bodies house a healthy mind. My
Yeah.
first question is, what is a strong body? Because I think through social media and kind
Right.
of the American magazines, we link a strong body to being slim.
Right.
What is a strong body?
Strong body is a balanced body. Strong body is a symmetrical body. And strong body is a well nutrition body. And for everybody, that will look different. Okay. Now, for example, if somebody comes to me and they're like, oh, I want to lose weight. Well, you know what? Weight loss is about food, not about exercise. Weight loss is about really nutritioning your body properly and just getting the body to optimize its function. Strength is something totally different. So strength is a balanced, symmetrically functioning body that is well nutritioned, that is rested well daily. And I used to take sleep, for granted. I used to take breathing for granted. But I have to tell you, this 8 hour sleep that your body needs to repair and to recover from the daily wear and tear, the daily stress, it is so important what comes to the strength of your body and the balance of your body, that I cannot stress it enough, that sleeping is really, and resting and managing stress properly is extremely, extremely important. Breathing, my God, breath. We have 4 different centers of breathing in our brain. 4. How much information do you think the body is getting, the brain is getting regarding our breathing? I mean, that I think of this so often, that how comes we have 4 centers that detect my breathing patterns. So breathing, so important as part of strong body. Inhaling, allowing the body to inhale, expanding the chest, and then allowing the oxygen to go from the air into the lungs, and then allowing that distribution to happen through the body. It is so important, and especially nowadays, and our age and day and age, because of wearing facial coverings and being restricting the amount of oxygen that goes to the body. Remember, 20% of the oxygen that our body receives goes to our brain. Okay, to me, the brain is the master computer. Right. Hello, New York. If my brain is not functioning well, there is no strength. If my brain is not nutrition well, there is no strength. If my brain did not repair throughout my sleep cycle, there is no strength. And if my breathing patterns are off and I deplete my brain from oxygen, how can I expect my body to be strong? So that is, to me, strong body. That's what it's all about.
So it's not about weight or the way how we look. It's about really what we do for our body. And so how do we measure, like, strength? Like you can get someone in your studio, any size, any weight.
Right.
How can you, by looking at them or by observing their movements, how can you tell if someone has a strong body or not?
It's very individualized. Okay, so it's very individualized for each person, obviously. But the body really, really speaks. The body really tells you, what's happening. So a lot of times, another thing that's really important that I didn't mention earlier is hydration. How much water do you drink a day? Being hydrated, staying hydrated.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yes, I know. I have mine right here. I'm going to grab it in a sec. I've been drinking all morning. Because remember, water also detoxifies the body, but water also makes you function well. We're 98% water. We're liquid. So that's a simple question that I will ask, somebody who walks in my studio. Well, how much water do you drink a day? And, sometimes they'll tell me, well, I know I don't drink enough. I'm like, okay, so we're already on the same level. We're already thinking alike. We already know that there is improvement that needs to be made. And then I just look at the way they move. I just look at the way they walk. I just a strong, well-balanced body is very efficient in its movement. So if that efficiency is not there, obviously we have to start looking and seeing where is that efficiency lacking. Is it in the feet? Is it in the spine? But usually, I have to tell you, 100%, it starts from the ground up. It starts from the feet. And usually that's how we start balancing the body. And as I said earlier, balanced body is a strong body. So what's really interesting that after a couple of sessions, and I really am serious, 2 sessions is all it takes for me to change your body. And it starts from the foot up. It starts from the ground up. So definitely that's where the balance starts.
Next time I go to Florida and come.
Oh, you have to come visit for sure. Actually, I had somebody
have 2 sessions with you.
Yes, exactly. That would be amazing. Actually, I just had somebody that made a comment. Yes, come and see me. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I'm not that far away from you. We're gonna have fun because we always have fun in here. It's hard work, guys. Don't think it's nothing, serious. I pretty much make everybody work super hard.
So now I'm trying to link all what you have said and kind of understanding more of what's behind you and your purpose. Because I was reading also, I think on your website, you mentioned that your mission is helping people of all ages to live healthy, productive, and purposeful
life. Yes, yes.
And then, as I was preparing the questions for you today, I was like, okay, how a Pilates instructor professional can help someone live a purposeful life, so
yes. Okay, so Pilates is only one little piece of the puzzle, and I think this is also why neuroscience has been so fascinating to me, that I literally dedicated a lot of my time, and I still dedicate a lot of my time to study and research, because the way I want you to think of this, think of a superhero. And I know I was just talking to somebody not too long ago, and this whole concept came along, and I love it, actually. Each one of us has a superhero within. It's just that we never really discover that superhero. Okay, so I'm not just talking physically superhero, but I'm also talking mentally and emotionally superhero. So my purpose is to grab you from where you are, and for us to go and find that superhero and just kind of like piece it together. So it's almost like, oh, look, here are the feet of the superhero. Oh, look, here's the spine of the superhero. Now let's put the protective shield over so we don't let stress get to us. And now let's see how we can optimize the function of your whole body so you don't have to worry about falling or, not moving right or not being able to do something. So that's how I connect all these pieces. Mentally and emotionally, the neurological aspect of the reflex pattern integration, it's so tremendous, because each reflex pattern, and there are 37 reflex patterns that I work with, each reflex pattern actually has physical implications, but also has cognitive, mental, emotional implications. Like, let's take that simple foot pattern. It's actually not that simple. I should not say that. But let's take Babinski, a reflex pattern, which is a foot pattern, right? So what is the physical implication of that pattern? Well, it strengthens your feet. By strengthening your feet, it balances your pelvis. By balancing your pelvis, it now makes your spine function much better. It makes both sides of the spine function symmetrically. It makes your whole system function better. So that is Babinski. That's the physical implication. What is the mental implication? Well, mentally, it helps you manage stress. It's about grounding. It's about connecting to your source. It's about connecting to the earth. So that's what it does for you mentally. So think about this. All of a sudden, you have this very well balanced and well grounded mentally and physically system that now it's not responding emotionally to everything that happens externally to you. And all of a sudden, you're now becoming very solid what comes to thought processing. Now you're not reacting, you're now thinking, you're now processing, everything with ease rather than being emotional. Oh, I can't believe this person said that, or I cannot believe, I'm doing this. No, now it's like, wow, look what I can do. Wow, maybe this person didn't mean to say what they said to me. Let's go back. Instead of reacting, we're now processing everything from a very different angle. Cognitively, what it does, it actually helps you focus. It helps your mental focus. Also, what it does, it helps you process information when you read. How is that information being processed? How quickly are you reading? How are you writing? What are your communication skills with others? Because writing is about communication. It's about you being able to properly communicate with others. So you see how one reflex only, look at the benefits of it. Look how it connects the entire system. So I don't believe that there is mind and body. I believe that there is one very diverse and very multi-dimensional system. And each one of those dimensions, they interact with each other. They come together in this perfectly balanced body. And that's where it all comes together. That's how I change people's lives. And that's my purpose, just by connecting those dots for people.
This has been amazing. Like like I'm just speechless, because I was wondering, it's like, what is that connection? Because I think it's very strong, or very strong. It's like to say, like a life with purpose, a purpose
Right.
life, is, and I think for me this is the key. Or in my life I don't look for happiness, I look for tranquility. This is
right.
What I look for. So it's kind of getting there, and
Exactly.
it's amazing how you put together that interconnection between the body and mind, and not
Exactly.
body mind, not body
Exactly.
and mind, right?
No, it's one body, and it's I don't even want to call it body. It's one being that is so multidimensional that we need to look at each one of those dimensions and make sure that they come together, they interact with each other. And this is why I really was so drawn to neuroscience, because that was my gateway to connecting my physical, my mental, and my emotional aspect of that system, bringing all those three together. And that was very, very powerful for me. That really expanded everything.
And then we're going to switch gears again to something that we all go through, challenges, right? Like as entrepreneurs, you are, well, probably now you're a citizen, but you arrive as a foreigner here,
right,
to the US, which was my case as well. A woman. So, what are the kind of, you can share with us one or two challenges, like key challenges that you have encountered, that life throw you, that actually at the same time have been one of the biggest engines or motivation to keep moving forward and be where you are today?
Right. So, I mean, obviously, I have tremendous drive. I mean, everybody who knows me will tell you, I mean, I drive forward until I cannot move. I just, for me, this is just what gives me this incredible satisfaction, is just my drive, because I know what I can handle and how far I can push. So coming to the United States was actually something really, really incredible for me, in a way that it gave me the opportunity to grow, and it gave me the opportunity to see results of my work. So that was a very positive environment and positive thing for me. My biggest challenge, believe it or not, and it's something that really, really made me stop and shift gears, was that at one point I was losing sight of who I am. And just because of that extended drive that I was pushing and driving my business forward, and I went from 400 square feet to a 5,000 square feet studio with having so many people working with me, and it was just like, and I was thriving of that. But at one point I had to stop and realize that I was really neglecting me, and I was losing sight of who I was. I was losing sight of what I needed as a person. And I thought I was constantly growing, but I really wasn't, because I was not giving myself the time to I was not spending time with myself. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was not able to, I was not doing the things I wanted. I love. I was doing, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Pilates and all that, but I was not going surfing. Like, I was not going, I was not traveling. I was just kind of like the things that were inspirational to me. Um, I was not really spending time on that. And at one point, I had to really stop, and I was like, oh my God, what's happening to you? Who are you? And I couldn't answer that question. And it was very scary. And I literally had to stop and pull back. I took about 2 months off. Like, I completely just disappeared. Like, I went, and it was very tough. I have to tell you, this was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, to go back and reconnect again and discover, discover who I am. And now I this is one of the most important things that I do on daily basis. I don't lose sight of that. And if at any point I feel like, okay, you need to finish what you're doing right now, and then you need to back off, I totally do that. I take walks on the beach now. I do my breathing work outside. I have a day off, which I never had before. And it's just one of those things that it's just brought so much awareness to me, and my growth just continued to expand in a very different direction, in a very different way. So it was extremely, extremely challenging to reconnect again. So my advice to everyone is, do not lose sight of that, guys. You have to stay focused. You have to know who you are at any point, because if you lose track of that, it's very difficult to reconnect. And then, to me, that center, that alignment, I almost think of my spine as my alignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that all the time and at any time, I need to be aligned with that. And if I'm not aligned, then I disconnect. And this is where you start to feel, tired. Some people also start to get sick, and all that. So yeah, that was the biggest challenge for me, but I conquered it, and I'm very proud of myself that I did that the way I did it.
Wow, that's again another big lesson for all of us, and I think is very important part of the success is also taking care of ourselves.
Exactly. And this is exactly why, you guys, if you see, like, I usually post like my little daily workouts, and I hashtag self-care. Yes, self-care.
Yeah, like at Tucketts, like February is the month of love, and some Valentine's,
Exactly. Self-love,
Valentine's,
self-care.
and we focus at Tucketts on that self-love, self-care, self-acceptance with the body that you have, and then just give some time to yourself, which is the hardest part, right? Especially when you are an entrepreneur,
Exactly.
a mom, wife, or whatever you have in your life. It gets busy, and sometimes we really abandon ourselves, right?
You cannot do that. And especially, like relationships and all that. Or, remember love, right? What is love? Love is unconditional share. Well, think about this. If you are not whole, so if you don't take care of who you are, you don't know who you are, what are you sharing with others? You really cannot share anything. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why our first and most important responsibility is to take care of ourselves. So then you share the wholeness that you have, you share it with others, you share it with the world.
Totally.
So important. So important.
Totally. I'm making notes, so okay.
I love it.
Here.
I love it.
um, this has been amazing, and I love that the conversation went in a different way to what I had at the beginning, and I love it.
It always does.
Yeah, I love
it always does.
And it's funny. So I was going to say, since with some people I do like a pre-interview to get to know people, but I
Right,
love
exactly.
these call interviews because
Right.
something unexpected. Um, I think we have just few more minutes before Instagram cut us because I think it's maximum.
Yeah, exactly, the hour, exactly. Right,
Yeah,
right.
the hour, exactly. So very quickly, how COVID has impacted your business or you in a positive or not so positive?
Right.
Or changes or things like.
Yes. Well, remember, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's
Yeah,
how I do it. No matter what it is. No matter if it's COVID or whatever it is. If life gives you lemons, make a lemonade out of it. So I remember the first, when we first got the message that we're shutting down. And I remember actually, talking to my mom on the phone and saying to her, oh my God, we now have opportunity to fix everything we don't like about our lives up to this point. We now have an opportunity to fix that. And my mom, because my mom is in Bulgaria. I mean, I don't live with her, and she said, wow, that's an interesting way of putting it. But she said to me, you know what, you're right. So this is actually what it's been for me. It's been a constant search. For me to say it's been easy, no, it's been challenging. But for me, the moment I become aware of a challenge, I go at it and I dig as deep as I can and I see what information is there for me to learn. And it gave me an opportunity to explore a lot of different options. It also gave me an opportunity to cleanse not only my being, but my business and everything, and just to detox of anything that's stagnant and it's old and it's heavy. So I look at this whole situation as a growth. That's how I look at it. We have to take care of our bodies in a different way now with COVID, which brought a lot of attention to a lot of people. They're becoming healthier. They're becoming more aware. It's been a tremendous growth. It's been a tremendous growth for me. Definitely launching, my virtual platforms, being able to work with people virtually and connect with people from all over the world virtually. It's been tremendous experience for me. Also, even my clients that come and see me at Pilates here at the studio, it's been a tremendous experience as well because everybody's changed. So now all of a sudden, no negativity, everybody comes in here and everybody's happy because they're here. And practicing not letting everything on the outside affect you, practicing that mental fitness, that emotional bodybuilding, to be able to maintain the lightness on the inside and not to allow anything that's on the outside, not allow fear, come through and seep through. So it's been a tremendous experience for me.
And my very last question, even, with an amazing drive and you are a go-getter, like
right.
no doubt. However, we don't do it on our own completely. There is always little angels or people that inspire us either by supporting in different ways or someone that we admire and then is an inspiration. So who is there for you? Who has been there? Who has inspired you? Who is a bit behind, holding your back?
Right, exactly. Well, I have a huge support system behind me. I want everybody to know that it's not just me on my own. I have a tremendous support system. My husband first has been a tremendous support system for me. Very strong, very supportive. My mom has always been a tremendous source of inspiration for me since I was very young. And my team here is fabulous. I have, instructors from all over the world. I think they have been tremendous for me. And actually, I'm going to introduce you to somebody right now. And actually, it's her birthday today, so we can sing happy birthday. Hey, Nicole, come for 1 second. So yes, she has been really, really a tremendous support system for me. Everybody meet Nicole.
Hi.
Happy
Hi,
birthday
Nicole.
to you.
How
Happy
are
birthday
you?
to
My
you.
birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Nicole. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
to you.
Good.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Nice meeting you.
So that is definitely, you know, my support system, and my support system is really positive, and it's very, very I'm very grateful for that. And I also believe that what we put out is what we attract. So when you start putting out your intentions, you start attracting the right people that support those intentions. So by looking at my support system, I'm actually very proud of myself for putting out those intentions and attracting them to me. You know,
Yeah,
so.
that's amazing. And if there is something I have learned in this, doing these interviews since last year, is that community, build your tribe, wherever
Build your tribe.
that
Exactly.
is, like build your tribe. It's very hard to do it on your own, and you don't need to. There are tons of people there that are willing to help, right? Tonka, this has been amazing. I'm very happy with this chat. And I look forward to maybe, you know, do something else with
Yes.
you in the future, and also to go and work out with you.
That would be so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And stay positive. Stay positive, stay strong. And you know what? When you feel that, you know, the whole world is gone wrong, you know what? Go to sleep. Take a nap. Okay? Let your brain process all of this, and don't take anything too serious. Okay? Because at the end of the day, your health matters the most. And that's what you have to always, always remember. So I love you, and thank you so much again for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here, and then have a lovely rest of the week.
Thank you
And
so
we will
much,
be
Paul.
sending you one of our gift sets.
I love it.
To thank you, and it has some creams and liquid soap also to take care of your feet.
Love it. Thank you so, so, so much, Paula. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining me and joining Paula. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
See you next
Love
Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.